Hello, everyone. It's Michaela here, my joy coach, your joy coach. How is everyone doing? We are here today. It's me, Michaela, with
Hey,
Lisa Tancredi. Hello,
so that last
Lisa.
one, I think it actually happened. I mean, like when I turned it off, it
It
started
went
playing,
live.
and we were there. We
Yep,
were talking a lot.
yep. And this is where, listen, we're all just figuring out all the bumps in the road. What y'all missed is that we tried to do a practice room and get each other in and come out live for you. But what we found is
Get a
even
little
the best
messy.
laid plans get a
Yeah.
little messy, which is kind of why Lisa and I are here. This is what we do. We are coaches and healers, both in our own ways. I am a life coach, I'm a group facilitator, and I work with individuals to empower them and bring out their best selves. Lisa is a tarot card reader and she does a lot of different things, probably names I won't get all kinds of
I
right.
have to say, I've been trying to figure out how to talk about what I do, and one second, I came up with this great thing that I liked. So let me see if I can do this.
Yeah.
So it was, you know how you're driving in your car and suddenly you say, oh, this is, I think, what I do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
run the Feel Better group, right? And that I teach you how to use your higher consciousness and inner wisdom to bring you to your true path and purpose, peace, prosperity, the life that you want to live.
Oh, that
Does that
is so
sound like what I
generous
do?
and wonderful.
I mean, I think it sounds wonderful, and I think it's what I do.
It
But
definitely
you've
does.
been on the other side, so if that sounds right to you, I like.
It sounds spot on. And yes, I felt all of those words inside of me. And, for those joining us today and those listening, that's how this started. I wanted to provide a living, breathing testimonial because my written words were not enough to say what it is that I experienced and the incredible growth I've had since my first reading with you in December, right? So here we are today. My goal in life is when I find something great, I want to share it with my people, and you're all my people, right? All
Love
my
that about you, by
siblings.
the way. That is just such a lovely. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Well, I mean, like, listen, my former pastor, who I still call him my pastor, but he always said to love wastefully, to just put it out and put it out because it will renew, it will come back. And yes, make good decisions about how we give ourselves to the world, but when I find something good, I want to share it. I want to give it to my people, okay? Which is why I coach. I found good things in perspective and boundaries and really digging into what happiness and suffering looks like in life, and then to find the happy place in the middle that I call joy. So for me, I found something great in Lisa, and in any way
really
I
lovely.
can, I want to share
I
her.
loved the question that you asked. Was it end of last week? What are you tolerating? I just thought, that opens up so many things. Like, how many times are we tolerating things that we don't even know we're tolerating because we're just so used to tolerating them? Right.
Right. We're programmed. And that question, I mean, it truly is foundational, not only to my coaching practice, but to my living practice. I was, like I said in one of the videos, I had all the things, everything I needed for a very happy, joyful life. But I was all out of whack. I was so sad. I was so empty, but I kept giving and loving wastefully and never turning that love back into myself. And what I found, I was tolerating a life without joy. Holy crap. What a waste of time, right?
It is, but we don't know.
But
we don't know.
But man, I was devoted.
Until I don't want to say how many decades, but many, many decades, more than 3, less than 10, to really understand that that we're here to experience joy. That like before I was trying to like just make things joyful, sort of like around the corner. Like, while I'm working and doing something I really don't want to do, let me see if I can try and have a little joyful moment this 5 minutes that I get my iced tea down the street. You know what I mean? Like trying to
Mm-hmm.
just steal little moments instead of
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that it's in every
Yes.
moment. That's every moment you are not only
Yes.
allowed, but this is what you're here to do, is to feel and concentrate, focus on the inner joy, not trying to make the outer conditions work for yourself in, you know, to bring you joy. Because when you start conditioning your inner joy on outer conditions, you're at the whim of everything going on outside of you, anything happening, right? And the outside conditions, you can't control those, but you have 100% control of your inner self, right? You have 100% control of what you do. And sometimes you get caught, right? We get caught, we jump off the cliff and we go, oh my God, I'm so angry, or I'm so frustrated.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I do too. And and I kind of like kicked myself in the butt still, but I'm like, whoa, I got off that cliff a lot faster than I would have 5-10 years ago, you know? And that's the growth, right? Because we all experience these feelings. They're happening, right? We can't stop the feeling. And I spend a lot of time with my people just saying, okay, let's celebrate the fact that you felt like losing it at the gas station on the person, right?
That you didn't.
Let's celebrate that you didn't completely, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay that you feel that. But now what do you want to do about it? And that's where, to go back a minute, that question of what are you tolerating? And I was tolerating that I was losing my mind like this and so frustrated. Had nothing to do with, you know, the hypothetical gas station, right? But if I am so separated from myself and what makes me happy and what drives me and what gift I can naturally well up over and over and over again, right? But I was pouring out of buckets that weren't mine to carry, you know? And answering that question was really hard. I was very hesitant to say that because my whole life I was very, very clearly identified as the happy person, a joy bringer, the light in the room. And what if I told the world that I didn't feel like that, right? What if I told the world that I was actually pretty tired and sad and disappointed, right? What would that do? And in our search for connection, I didn't want to let go. But I said it. Fortunately, I had a great coach who was willing to get in there with me and filter through why. What are you going to do about it, right? And it truly has inspired so much of how I live today, so much of how I practice my coaching, and so much of what I want to give to other people is you don't have to tolerate it. You might have to do it. You might have to get up and change the diaper, but it doesn't have to come from that place of tolerating, right? Like it doesn't have to be, you don't have to fight with yourself.
You want to find that inspiration, right? You want to connect to the inspiration, which is like sometimes when especially when you're busy, especially when you don't have enough rest or enough food or enough exercise or all of the things that you need to take care of, you're moving too fast. It's very hard to just sort of leave your inspiration behind and take your to-do list and say, okay, go A, B, C, and go down. And that just takes your energy, right down, because you can't connect with your higher guidance at that point.
Well, no, and because you're postponing your joy, you're postponing that experience, right? Like you said earlier, you're putting it around the corner for another day. And it's, oh, you know, I'll read that book that I know will satisfy my soul next week. Next week will be better, right? Yes, it can be, but what the heck are you going to do to get there?
One of my coaches,
right?
You know, we both have coaches, of course. One of my spiritual teachers says it like this. He says, you have time to take care of yourself if you take the time to take care of yourself. And if you don't take the time to take care of yourself, then you don't have the time. I was like, that's just like a paradox, but it totally makes sense to me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thinking of if you tell yourself it's never going to happen.
If you think you can or think you can't, you are right.
You're right. Right. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Very simply put. Thank you. And that's where the combination of the two conversations that you and I have and the work that we do, because I think that there's so much crossover, right? Like where I introduced, we're both coaches and we're both healers. We practice in different ways, but I still pull from that intuition. You know, when we talked last week about how you prep and prepare and then preserve yourself and then regroup at the end, it's very similar to what I do with my time, you know, and how I spend my energy. So I think it's really great that we have opened up these conversations because I kind of just forgot that we were talking on
Yes.
Instagram Live.
This is
Just
how
this
we
is
talk when we
how
talk.
Lisa
Exactly.
and I talk, friends. And had we our druthers, we'd probably sit all day and talk about this stuff. But today, because we did this last week, and because I really, really believe in the power of looking in, right? Digging into what's inside and then building practices to help you move forward into a better, healthier way.
Okay.
I do want to ask you to pull another card for someone who's listening. So if any of and we'll yap for a minute so you can take a moment and get to a full body yes that you want to participate. But I would love for you to draw another card for one of our
if somebody wants
viewers.
a card, I think the easiest way to do it, because let me see, can you see them? There they are. Okay. So I'm not so good there. But so what I do is, if you give me a number, put a number in the chat, and I will just go from, this time I'll come from the right, and there are 22 cards, so it has to be a number between 1 and 22. So if you want to have a card, and here's the thing about when people gather for like sort of a particular reason, like for right now, you're all here on this Instagram Live, or if you're all at a certain dinner, or if you're all at a certain ball game, there is a common thread going on with all of the people in that room and all the people in that space. So whoever wants a card or whoever draws a card is drawing one for themselves, but also drawing one for the whole group.
Right. I love that. It makes me it always like when I think of that energetic connection, it always makes me think of mushrooms,
yes.
And how they're interconnected throughout the world, and they communicate and share their energy. And
did you see that video, that fabulous fungi?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That was fast. Yeah,
it's fascinating, right? Like it's fascinating. Okay, so I'm not seeing any numbers popping up, and I want to say,
you give me a number, I'll pick the card, and I'll talk about it. It'll be the right card for us.
Okay, I had 2 numbers pop into my head. There is one commonality, so I'm going to say the number 3.
Let's see here. All right, and here is the card. It is called Judgment. All right, let's just take a look at it for a little bit so you can see what's going on with this card. This card is about, and I would say this is pretty much what we're doing. This card is about being called to start listening to a higher source of information. These sort of rays that are breaking through are that you have felt this. You have felt this calling, this connection, this communication from your higher guidance. Because your higher guidance, this angel, this higher guidance is just you, right? It's you calling to you saying, hey, I'm really here, right?
Remember.
And you've started to listen. And the more you start to listen, the more I'm going to communicate. Because this is a relationship you have with this angel, right? If you want to stay down in these, these little coffins and close it and stay in the dark, you are welcome to do that. Your angel will sit and do the crossword. They'll do the Wordle. They'll do the Sudoku, whatever it is, while they're waiting for you. But they're never going to go away, because this is you. This is your higher guidance. This is your inner wisdom. One of my spiritual teachers likes to tell the story of this man that he met, that I don't know if I said this last time, but I do say a lot of the same stories because they hit right on. Yeah, it bears repeating.
Well,
exactly.
Bears repeating.
So this man who was very overweight, and he was having a conversation with him. And he said, do you ever get the urge to exercise? And the guy said, well, yeah, I get the urge to exercise, but if I wait long enough, it goes away. And that's pretty much what this is. This is saying is these little rays are coming through and saying, we are making connections all of these different places. Like it's starting to come through to you much more, right? This is number 20, right? The end of the deck is 21. So this is like you have gotten through a lot of changes. You have gone through a lot of ups and downs. You have gone through a lot of cycles. You have mastered a lot of different things that you had not mastered before. And you have been using this higher guidance to do it. And the higher guidance is saying, I am coming to you, and you are waking up. You are lifting yourself up to the light and saying, this is the direction that I want to go, is I want to start listening to me over anything else in this world, because what my inner guidance has to say to me is the right thing. It's what feels right to me. And I want to connect. And it's a relationship. The more you bring this connection to yourself, the more you literally ask, and this is all you have to do. You just get to yourself to a calm place. You don't want to be off balance, right? You don't want to be too excited. You don't want to be too upset. You want to be in a very calm place. And then you ask the question, what's the right thing for me to do here? Or what's the right thing for me to think here? Or what's the right thing for me to say here? Or what's the right thing for me to feel here? This is all about following that inner wisdom that is your wisdom teacher. This is who it is coming through to you. And this is the card saying, this is starting to happen more and more. You have gotten more mastery. You are going up to another level of connection with that wisdom. Don't doubt it. When you get an answer, don't ignore it. Don't put it to the side and say, I'll do it next week. Say, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to go. It might not make sense, but it's one thing. Like sometimes people aren't sure what's coming from their higher guidance, what's coming from their inner wisdom, and what's just sort of like your ego. It's not going to do anything to your ego. It's not for your ego. It's not coming for you to have a nice house or a nice car or the perfect career or everything going perfectly in your life in that way. It's going to it's
inner fullness. It's the
inner fullness.
The
beautiful.
The wholeheartedness.
That's exactly.
Maybe.
That's us today. That's all of us on this call.
Minute.
Whoever's there. That's where you are too. Keep listening. Keep looking for signs. There are going to be signs everywhere. There's not just the feeling, but there's going to, like for me, I get a lot of song lyrics. Some people get like billboards or words in a game, or words in a book that they open the book and they go, oh my God, that's the sentence that I needed to read, or whatever it is. Look around. Yes.
We were playing Scrabble the other night and I was like, my God, Chris, are you seeing these words? Like everything just was so thematic and timely about some of the stuff we're working on. And I had to like pause.
That's exactly.
This is profound. I mean, Scrabble, you take what you can get, right? Or you take what you're given. Holy wow. Okay, so we have to breathe and digest. That at least I do. That hit today. That hit today, right? And one of the reasons that I chose 3 is, as we were kind of talking about on our pre-call, is this month, March, the 3rd month. And I do love the number 3. The other one I was looking at is the number 21, just because that's my number. But I thought, you divide by 7 and have my other number and have 3. So we're good. But I am hearing and seeing Instagram posts, maybe not song lyrics, but Instagram posts just about how this month, I've been pushing in my solo direction for really a year to a year and a half, with the intensity, with the direction and focus that I need. And it's been like frustrating and intense, and February was hard. But I keep seeing these signs of kind of surrender. You have pushed through, you have pushed hard. Surrender. Like the light is full and abundant, girl. You're at the top of the hill. Like just lie, baby.
Wait. Like if you don't have a clear like signal, then wait until love comes through and tells you, go in this direction. This is the direction of inspiration for you. This is the direction of love and joy for you. Wait for that. Don't push through and try and make it happen. Pushing doesn't make anything happen other than misery. It's just a lot of misery. And
well, and I love it because I was thinking before, I'm like, well, maybe I can go back and ask some questions from like, what are we going to do with our time today? And one of the questions as a follow-up to our conversation in December, and something we talked about last week a little bit, or 2 weeks ago, was being on the top of the hill. So I was going to ask the question of, what the hell do I do now that I'm on the hill? Listen. And the answer is listen. That's just listen, and do practice what I preach. Pause. Wait for the full body. Yes. Wait for the clarity. I,
Okay.
I
There are
give
two
myself these
speeds when you're
questions.
doing
What's
this
that?
work, right? When you're going through, you're top of the hill and you're going to have another cycle that's going to go down, but it's going to be a
Yes.
higher cycle. So the down might be higher than the high was before, right? But there are two speeds, and the two speeds are slow and stop. That's it. Those are the two speeds. You do anything more than that, you are pushing yourself, and you are not going to be able to hear, because
Too much.
these signals are really subtle, right? If you try to deny your feelings of any sort, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be mad at that person, or whatever it is, or frustrated. If you try to deny those, that keeps you from feeling these as well. You have to allow these things to flow through you, allow them to go out of you, right? Not hold on to them and try to keep them or hide them, and use your feelings, because your feelings are a tool, and the feelings are, and that's how your inner guidance gets to you. That's how you know that it feels right, is because it feels right. Stop thinking your way through life and feel your way through life. That's what this is.
Yes.
You are feeling your way through life more, and it's going to make your life so much more beautiful, so much more balanced, so much more order and harmony in your life from those things.
Guys, isn't she just incredible to listen to? Like, I mean, I just, I want to unpack all of these things. Listen, because there's so much to talk about here. But again, like, I really needed that moment to breathe and let that settle in. You spoke directly to me. You probably saw it. I got all, like, red faced and a little teary eyed, because you're speaking to my soul, right? And it's like, now what do we do with it? And that's where with my coaching practice, it's okay. How do you slow down? How do you get up to the top of the hill without huffing and puffing and breathing so hard that you cannot hear yourself think, right? What are we doing when we get there? And this is where I want to continue to make myself vulnerable and say, okay, I'm tolerating something. Can we get a little closer to what it might be? And here, it's tolerating all the noise I've created around this journey I'm taking. So, right? And I love that, because it gives me practical tools to offer and to work through with the people who come to me to say, what do I do about a little bit of overwhelm? Or I'm in this place and I'm fighting through. Well, I've been there.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's go there. So personally, I feel very inspired and very, very touched. And I just, at any opportunity where we can get people to be a little more vulnerable and to open it up a tiny crack, right? Just open up that door a tiny crack and let some fresh air in and say, okay, maybe I don't have to fight so hard through this, because if I'm fighting through anything, that's not authentic.
Bringing all that fighting back to you, because that's the energy you're putting out. You have nothing, no choice but to bring that energy back to you. So you are lowering your energy by trying to fight through something that, if you just went to slow or stop, whichever was the right one for you, you could just say, what is my guidance saying? Because it's been poking through, and I've been hearing it. And sometimes I listen and sometimes I don't. That's the journey. You're going to get better at hearing it, and you're going to get better at following it. And then you're going to say, okay, I followed it for 5 days. It said for me to go this way. And then everything went wrong. How come everything went wrong? It didn't go wrong. It looks like it's going wrong from the outside world, but it's taking you exactly where you need to go to bring you to an even better place of beauty, back order.
Right. Well, that's it. And we can't demonstrate our growth if everything is in this homeostasis, right? Like we don't live in a vacuum in a bubble, and we have to practice it, and it's highs and lows. And, for me, I said, oh, great. You ate the whole box of cookies. Great. You went 5 days, no cookies, right?
Stop. Let's just stop that.
What changed?
I know.
Right. Just, okay, stop right there. You did it. Let's not throw a lot of judgment on it, and let's just focus. What happened? What was different? How do we replicate the 5 days? And you filter out the noise, right? Like you start just saying, this was, something I can control and something I can't control. How do I buffer against it next time? And that's where I appreciate the depth of this, because all I want is for people to trust that voice. All I want is for them to trust that voice inside that says yes or no. My friend Chrissy just hopped on here. Hi, Chrissy. And, we've had conversations before where it's like, you know what? I'm going to celebrate wholeheartedly your no. I love that. You're going to take care of you. You're going to do what's right for you. You don't have to say yes to everything as long as the yes is coming to something that helps fill your light, to help fill your bucket, to help move you forward or not hurt you, right? Because not everything is going to fill our bucket. Let's be real here, right? Some things are grudging. But we move through it and we flow through it. And I feel so strongly that having people to talk to, having anyone in your life that's going to give you that clarity and that insight and that motivation to say, what am I doing? What am I tolerating? Now that I'm here, what the heck do I do? Right? I don't know how to do all the things I'm going to do in my life. I don't want to pretend that I know. I would like inner guidance. I would like outer guidance. I would like guidance from anywhere I can get it. And for me, I know that my coaching is a particular kind of movement, a particular kind of insight and empowerment. So for me to share any space with people who do work very similar to my own, in a different, or even in the same way, I truly don't care. I want people to be happier, healthier versions of themselves not because I want it for me, but because the whole world needs it, right? Generationally, we need to solve some of these quandaries that we find ourselves in.
You see the struggles that they have, and you see that they have, so like they don't have people to talk to. They don't have somebody to be able to help them navigate some of these really difficult things that they have. That you and I, we all had difficult things in our lives and our childhood, without a doubt. But we didn't have them on social media. You know what I mean? It did not
Everyone
go
has
up. The things that I failed at, or I was very upset about, whatever it was that I wanted to sort of shield myself from, it did not go out on a reel to all 500 million people in some
correct.
So it's a different thing. Yeah.
No, and I got a little criticized over my years on Facebook and such, and your life looks so happy and perfect and I'm like, do you think I'm going to broadcast like the bad stuff? Do I want to highlight and commemorate in my timeline the day I lost my on my kids? Not really.
And you don't want to focus on
that's
that.
Not what I use.
You want to be
for,
like, okay,
right?
How can I learn?
No.
How can I use that to master myself in this situation to go to a higher level? How can I hear my higher guidance in that situation so I don't do it again? That's how you use these things.
And I think what we lost is that the intent of the exchange, right? Am I going on Facebook to say I lost my shit with my kids so that I get validation? Oh, poor Michaela. Oh, right? Yeah. Or so that I can educate and help people, because I do not want to put that kind of negativity into the world. I am not here to argue and complain. Certainly not in that capacity. I have places and healthy resources to do what I need to do to move through life's complexities. But it's because I've chosen to invest in myself that way. I've chosen to have friends that are honest and sincere and will let me know when I make grammar mistakes in my posts and all the things, right? Thanks again, Chrissy. But we have to lean on each other, and we have to learn from each other, and we have to teach each other, because I don't want to be 80 and I hope I get there. I do want to be 80, but I don't want to be 80 and look back and say, gosh, it's really nice to not give a shit. Like I want to be at that place now and know where to put the important energy, and if I'm not listening, if I'm not tuning into to that inner voice, my divine gift, yes, the thing that I was put here to do. And no matter what your spirituality, all of them say we are divinely here, right? Like whatever religion or philosophy, we are divinely here. We are just special. And we have to use that, right? If I'm trying to be your kind of special, I'm going to fail every time. So I want to be successful in life. So I want to find and share my special. And I love that you and I got to share a little bit of that today, because I love your special. It is. And it's so fun. This is so fun. Friends who are listening, we had a conversation earlier. We're like, do we know what we're doing? Do we have a plan? And we're like, no, we're gonna show up and serve. That's how I see it. And really just have great conversations with one another. So hopefully we can do this again in a few weeks. But I just value you. I value the people very much who showed up. I think it is wonderful. And I hope that each of you who listen in take away something. But if nothing else, that you have the two of us who are both seeking and searching and hoping to grow and change and serve every day of our lives, telling you to listen.
To yourself.
Telling ourselves to listen. Yep.
Really
listen. Listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Listen to your voice. Yep.
You do.
Yeah. And if you need help finding it, you have two resources right here. You've got me, Michaela, at My Joy Coach. You have Lisa at the Feel Better Group. I hope you like and follow us both. And I hope to see you again here at another live Joy of Tarot.
I think that's what we're going to be doing. All right. Hope to see you all there. For me. Okay. Bye.
We do it. Thank you. Make it a great day, everyone.